The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
C.D. Lamb, touchdown.
Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Youmans.
It's a wonderful Wednesday edition of Talking Cowboys presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company live from the Star in Frisco, Texas in the SWBC studios. We've got the full cast and crew ready to rock today. We've got Isaiah Stanback, Josh Rodriguez, Patrik No C Walker sporting the Braves throwbacks. Icy.
One more time.
Icy, my friend.
Maybe. I'm trying to give them some good juju. I didn't represent them yesterday. They lost.
And they did.
Yeah. See how that works? Yeah. So this might be my final chance. Yeah.
I haven't repped any Mariners
Yeah.
gear.
Huh?
I haven't repped any Mariners gear.
I know that's
why they missed the playoffs.
Yeah. I went to the game where they beat up on the Rangers though.
Yeah, they weren't alone in that regard. I thought the Rangers won the game you went to.
No, we definitely beat up on them boys.
There it is.
Where's your
I
World Series?
don't think they won a game.
Where's your World Series ring?
We talking chips now.
Where are you talking chips?
We talking chips now.
Where's that ring?
It's okay. We have one of the greatest players of all time in our history.
Oh, yeah?
Multiple.
We've got like
shoes on.
Nolan Ryan, Pudge.
That's cool. Yeah, we have Griffey,
guys.
Randy Johnson.
Okay.
And Alex Rodriguez.
How many championships did they win with you guys?
Doesn't matter.
It does matter. It
Doesn't matter.
absolutely matters.
No, it doesn't.
It totally
That
matters.
changes from year to year. There were PEDs going on back then.
Yeah.
Plenty
Not
of
in our years.
Plenty of. Oh, they're not going on now.
Okay.
I represent Free. We got the Griffs.
Oh,
Yeah, those are pretty
So
sweet.
the Griffs.
them is nice.
there you go.
What size?
Nah, my size.
Not yours. Not your size.
My size. You know how it goes.
Exactly.
I love postseason baseball. I sat at home
October
last
baseball,
night and
baby.
just watched all sorts of October baseball. It's
October
great.
baseball.
And for those that didn't get that, okay, that was an underlying joke there. In the hood, okay, if you grew up in a
talk
bad
to 'em.
neighborhood,
Talk to 'em.
if you're walking on the street, okay, and some fellows or maybe even some ladies, you never know, asked you
know.
What's your size?
Yeah, what size shoe you
There's
wear.
only one
It's
answer.
bad news.
Don't even respond. Just look for the nearest exit or the best exit plan and just take off.
Yeah.
Try. I mean, at that point, like not creasing your shoes is not worth losing your shoes. Okay,
gotta
so
get
just
out of there.
take off running because back in the day, somebody asked you what size shoe you wear. You look
it's a
down.
setup.
You look down at your shoes. By the time you look up, you're gonna be straight Looney Tunes with the little stars.
See, that's what we were a little bit different from where I'm from because the answer I gave you is the answer.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, but you're right. Don't take your eyes off the person. Like, don't look down at the
It
shoe.
depends
Don't
on how many
look
people
too-
they got. It depends
Yeah.
on how many people they got.
That's
If it's one person, and okay, you
Then
make
the answer is my size.
Hey,
and you square up because this is about to go down.
as they say in Las
Or
Vegas,
you could
make a
you could
business
return,
decision.
You could return it and say they're your size and just really blow up, right?
Don't do that.
No,
Kyle. That's that
no.
UNT stuff.
See,
Don't do that.
No, that was actually told to me by one Barry Church.
BC didn't grow up in the hood
he
either.
said, "I'm about to bow up to you."
Man,
You said
that's
your
a
size.
South Lake statement. You don't say that.
That's when you rub oil on yourself and you start running at them.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you freak them out. They're like, oh, never mind. Jesus.
Will Ferrell baby oil.
Oh man.
Sorry, baby oil is out of stock nowadays.
Yeah,
All right, here we go.
The game
It's, you just got to out-weird the person.
game
Honestly, that's
Agreed.
My God,
Agreed.
air
That's the
fly.
way you get it.
We missed
News
the
and
guy.
notes. Pat, save us, please.
All right, so we got you. Yesterday, DeMarcus Lawrence was moved to IR, which was completely expected. He'll be down a minimum of 4 games with that foot sprain. So
Feet
there's
suck.
that. Yeah, the corresponding, or I should say, that's the corresponding move to the Cowboys poaching KJ Henry off of the Cincinnati Bengals practice squad. It's a 2-year deal. He's going to be on the active roster for a minimum of 3 weeks per poaching rules in the NFL. So he's here. But so they had to make the corresponding move expectedly. They put DeMarcus Lawrence on IR. Michael Parsons remains week to week. He is, quote unquote, frustrated. He said this injury is humbling, the high ankle sprain. He's talking as if he's going to miss against the Steelers. He's not been ruled out yet, but looks like a foregone conclusion at the moment. But again, he's still week to week. Mike McCarthy did say, however, that the team is preparing to play without him. So don't expect him to be on the field. I'd be shocked if he is. Too valuable for the long run. And then you got the Lions and then the bye, and then the 49ers coming up. Games that are going to be that much more challenging than even the challenge of the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Kalen Carson missed last week with a shoulder injury, suffered in the loss against the Ravens. We'll see if he practices today, but McCarthy said he's making some progress. See if he can take the field. DaRon Bland, do not expect DaRon Bland on the field against the Steelers. Too soon for that, but his 21-day practice window could be opened as early as today. And for those that don't know, once that window is opened, you have 21 days to either put the player on the active roster or they revert to season-ending IR. That's the in-house news. And I just driving in this morning, happened to casually catch a couple of reports saying the Cowboys might be interested in a big-name guy from a big-name place at a particular position. But it kind of raised my eyebrow because of the position. So
People's eyebrow?
Rock's eyebrow.
Okay.
Right? You're down Micah for at least maybe one game.
Yep.
You're down DeMarcus Lawrence for a minimum of 4 games.
Ouch.
We talked about the running back position struggling and where is Dalvin and whatever the case may be. But the Cowboys themselves in training camp kind of left the door open for a possible trade scenario at running back if things didn't kind of work out the way they wanted to work out. I guess my question to you guys is, would you, if you were to strike a trade before November 5th, what position would it be? Would it be wide receiver? Would it be running back? Would it be DE?
I was standing on business a few weeks ago when we were
Stand on
talking.
your business.
I was standing on weeks ago.
Business, Josh, I need. Let's go.
I need a wide receiver. I need another wide receiver personally. Just me. I would love to have a wide receiver. Just hang out with.
Why that over other positions?
Yeah, that's where I'm going with that.
To me, there's we've talked about it. The separation, I don't think is there. I think Brandon Cooks and all wide receivers outside of Brandon Cooks are having trouble getting open, and Dak is having to throw these like pristine, perfect window throws.
Demure, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. Demure throws.
Very demure.
I just don't think that the spacing is out there, and I don't think the threat is out there. I don't think anybody's necessarily afraid of any of the receivers outside of CeeDee Lamb. So to me, you add another weapon, I think that opens up a lot of windows. That opens up not only throwing windows, but that opens up your running game a little bit. That kind of pushes the defense down the field if you have another threat on the other side that isn't CeeDee Lamb.
And there was. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, we talked about it a little bit with Brandon Cooks, though. If there's no running game, how much separation are you going to get when teams sell out to stop the pass?
But you also would have Brandon Cooks in this scenario, right?
You would, and he would be your wide receiver 3, hopefully. But even then, as a wide receiver 2, he hasn't been able to get it done. Bringing in another guy, whoever that may be on the open market, bringing in another guy, does that immediately make you a better football team just by having another wide receiver 2 here? I think there's other ways to improve this team rather than spending high dollar, high draft capital, high picks to go get a guy in a spot where you already feel like you're good enough, but you just aren't having the cohesiveness outside of that.
And make no
offensive
mistake
line,
about
running
it.
back,
If
all
you're
these
talking
other
about
things.
drafting for somebody who's of the caliber to be able to complement CeeDee Lamb, it's going to be costly.
Oh yeah,
It's going to be costly. So you have to take that into account. For me, it's about establishing the run. And that should open up opportunities for Brandon Cooks to separate and things like that. That'll force teams to stop playing too high safety. Maybe they go single high because they have to put another guy in the box. And now you give Brandon Cooks the opportunity to impact you on those deep crossers and on those go routes and things like that. You good?
Somebody's phone ringing?
So I don't know, man. For me,
God?
Is that you?
Is it a sign?
Is that you?
Is this a party?
God's like, what size are those?
Not yours.
I don't know that wide receiver would be it. I think you have the talent here in a Brandon Cooks to complement CeeDee Lamb, and once Jake Ferguson really starts to get going, I think you have that for the passing attack. But I look at a position like defensive end. Yeah, KJ Henry, he has some talent, but what does that look like? You have a depth chart at defensive end that doesn't have depth right now. That's very concerning for me. And thankfully, the cornerback position is about to be resolved by DaRon Bland coming back here soon.
Yeah.
But if I were to strike a trade, the only 2 positions I'm willing to really entertain, unless the price was just something you can't pass up on at wide receiver, which I don't think that's going to happen at all, would be maybe running back and most certainly defensive end, depending on how the progress of DeMarcus Lawrence goes, and if the Cowboys start slipping backward in the absence of DeMarcus Lawrence. You know what I mean?
Of course.
There's so much that you put into that update there. I have to let's go backwards. Okay, let's go back a little bit.
Come on,
Rewind it.
You're about to play the Pittsburgh Steelers, correct?
Yes, sir.
Their quarterback currently is Justin Fields. Currently, right? Justin Fields. Okay.
Yep.
He's been doing okay this year. He's playing with more confidence, and I tell people all the time, this is a game of confidence. I don't care what your history has shown. I don't care that you're at the highest level of your competition field. If you have confidence, you are going to be the best version of yourself, and I think that's what we're starting to see with Justin Fields. Everything that he was capable of doing in Chicago, he's gaining on that every week while he's in Pittsburgh. Right? They lost last week, obviously, but that was still his best numbers he's had in his time in the league. So he's getting better. Okay, so you have a dual threat quarterback, and you're missing both of your defensive ends. Can we start there?
Yep.
Both of them.
Can we
Come
both?
on with it.
Both. BOFF''EM.
Both of them.
Both.
Okay. So
Both of them.
no shirts, please, on that one. That's a bad shirt. But that's a problem. And we've talked about Marshawn Nealon had a good week 1 against the Cleveland Browns, but I've also said that I don't feel, personally, my opinion, I don't think that he's a true defensive end. I think he's more of an interior defensive lineman. I think that's his style of play. I don't think he's quick enough. Doesn't have a quick twitch. I don't think he's as powerful as a Myles Garrett to be able to just overpower you. And I don't think that he has an overarching speed to be able to get around the corner. I just don't think he possesses those abilities.
Bar for bar, Kyle said this for you yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
He said Isaiah would say.
Yeah.
So
I was like, I can hear him right now. I was like, I don't want to put words in his mouth,
we go.
but I guarantee this is what he would say, and it was
brother.
exactly what you
Almost
just laid
that's what we
into
look
it.
like. Yeah. You know, so there's a problem there. There's a depth there.
Isaiah and light-skinned Isaiah.
Carl Lawson, I also said in the preseason, after watching, calling those games for the Cowboys this preseason and seeing him play, no shade on him. I think he's a one trick pony. And that's not a negative thing. It's just like if you're gonna have one trick, you better be dominant with it.
Yep.
And I don't believe that he is. So
He's also a rookie. He's 4 games into his career.
okay.
But that's I get what you're saying. I don't want to knock the guy.
No. I'm not knocking the guy. I don't take shots at people. Y'all know this, right? I'm just saying from what I've seen on film, he has not displayed an ability to make contributions to this team that affect and impact the game. That's all I'm saying.
Let's
To
put it
date,
this way.
I think his run game.
Let's put it this way.
Okay.
His run defense is there.
Correct.
Is there. But and I'm about to agree with you here. To Marshawn's own point, his pass rush is not there.
Yeah.
He
said that
said
in locker
himself
room.
he needs to
Well,
improve.
no, I'm sorry. I left the Marshawn Nealon. I'm talking about Lawson now.
Oh, Carl Lawson.
I'm talking about Carl Lawson.
I thought you were still talking about Nealon.
I
He
jumped
has
off of
to
that.
show that he can
Yes,
contribute.
I'm talking about Carl Lawson.
Yeah, no,
That's
he
what I'm
has to
saying.
show that he
That's why
can.
I went back to the preseason and said when they brought in Carl Lawson, like I haven't seen anything on film that shows me that he can make an impact on the game.
fair.
Nealon, yes, run game, right? He's an interior defensive lineman in my eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, Marshawn Nealon is, okay? He will turn into something, in terms of a DN, hopefully. I just think his body type and all that, naturally, he's an interior defensive lineman. That's just my opinion, okay? Go ahead.
With Carl Lawson, I feel like his sample size is too small. I mean, if you consider the preseason where he played one game, I think it was, and they were basically like, all right, we're going to put him on the practice squad because he's not ready yet.
Last game of the
He's not
preseason.
ramped up.
But here's also what's concerned about Carl Lawson is, and I said this yesterday, we were assuming and under the assumption that in the absence of Micah and Tank, that McCarthy would then start talking about, obviously, Marshawn Nealon, but also Carl Lawson as kind of that combo package. That's not what McCarthy was talking about. He was talking about Marshawn Nealon and Chauncey Golston. What does that tell you about Carl Lawson? It tells you what Isaiah's saying. He has to show that he can contribute.
Yeah, so I'm not confident there, right? So you're about to play a dual threat quarterback. You're talking about a team that runs the ball just as much as Baltimore and New Orleans, right? These guys run the ball. By the way, those are both teams that you've lost to this year. Yep. So these guys run the ball 34 times a game.
Emotional
34 times a game, and that's not just turning around and handing the ball off. That's also quarterback runs that where he's getting out the pocket. These are mocked up. Whether that's not him breaking the pocket on a pass. That's him actually having pulling guards, tackles, going after your second level guys, hooking your defensive ends and getting out on the edge. Yeah. So I don't feel confident there. But when you start talking about what position would you go try to trade for? There's a lot of issues right now with this team. You have a depth issue that you knew that you had at defensive end. You were hoping that nobody got hurt. If you were to have 2 guys missing at the defensive line. If you had 1 guy miss at receiver,
3. Sam Williams.
That's true. Sam Williams gone. Yes. So you didn't. Nobody anticipates losing 3 guys.
Exactly.
Right. So
3 starters.
Dallas did not have a depth issue at that position coming into the season, but injuries now put you in a position where you have a depth issue.
You have one.
You have one. At receiver coming into the season, if you had 1 injury at receiver, you had a depth issue.
Dunzo.
If you had 1.
Yep.
Right. You didn't
have one.
You didn't lose any contributors this year. Coming into the season, you had one of the top offenses last year.
Yep.
You're coming in with that same personnel.
Yep.
You're coming in with the same personnel, and your offense is just not getting it done. So yes, part of it is separation. When people talk about Brandon Cooks and his separation, I don't necessarily agree with that narrative wholeheartedly because I think that he's open when he's supposed to be open. But if the ball's not on time, now he's not open.
Yeah.
Right.
He's not getting read quick.
He's
enough.
not getting. Yeah. So the ball's not getting out in a timely fashion, which anybody, right? If you don't continue to work back to the quarterback, you're no longer open, right? If I run my route and I'm open, I stop my feet. Now that defensive back has closed that gap. Now I'm not open. Okay, so I think Brandon Cooks is getting open if the ball was to be on time. You're not getting the contributions from the other receivers the way in which you need to. You're not seeing the creativity offensively like we've seen in the past from Coach McCarthy. I know Christmas is a couple months away, but we need to get into that bag a little bit earlier because your offense is not doing what it needs to do.
Usually that's the opposite of what you said. Usually you say, let's save the bag a little bit. Let's push it
They listen to our show too
down
much.
the road.
They listen to our show too
now
much.
they're like, okay, chill out a little bit.
So we have to get that to the part you're talking about the running game. The running game has a direct effect on this offense's ability to move the ball down the field.
No doubt.
If you don't have a running game, teams know you have to throw. Now I can sit 2 guys over the top, right? I don't have to put 7, 8 guys in the box. I can play 6 guys in the box and run stunts, right, all day long and get pressure in the backfield and stop your running game. Now I can sit back and I can double up on guys. I can take care of crossers. I can have multiple safeties back there to take care of the big splash plays that we've had historically when you see CD running those over routes, when you see Kevontae Turpin running an over route like he ran in the first week or second week of the season, whatever it was. You don't get those plays anymore because they have extra guys back there. So now Dak is in a position where he has to be precise with every doggone pass that he throws. And he can't get creative and he can't do play action because that's what he does best. So the running game has to be affected, and it's not just a personnel thing in the backfield. It's not just a backfield thing. Everybody's looking to that room. We're going to do a breakdown on Film Room this week. I'm not sure even how they distribute that anymore, right? It's on
social.
It's on social, right? But we're going to do a breakdown to show you just how close.
Cowboys.com.
That too. Just how close this running game is.
Yeah.
This is just guys just not taking care of their assignments.
Yeah.
It's not scheme. It's the same O-line coach. It's the same offensive coordinator. It's the same play call. This is just guys not getting their blocks. And there's usually one guy that doesn't do his job. You got 10 guys doing their job. But if one guy misses his blocking assignment, the whole play is crap.
Falls apart.
And we're going to show that on film this week, so definitely take a look at that whenever we get it put out.
And I think
that
that's
boy good.
I think that's part of the point that I was making compared to Josh wanting a wide receiver. It would be a whole lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. You go get a high caliber wide receiver. We've seen it in the past when they traded for Amari Cooper in 2018. The fact that it does provide a jolt to your team, that's great when everything else is also set in place. I don't think everything else is set in place right now. And if you think that's the case, go get a wide receiver. Go do it. If you really think so, if you want to spend that type of capital to go get it done, go get it done. If you believe it will help. I don't think it helps to the significance of what it's going to take to go get somebody like that.
This is a waterbed with multiple holes in it right now, and you have one Band-Aid.
Oh.
The waterbed.
The waterbed.
Throwback.
If you know,
It's
you
the
know.
80s.
The 80s, baby. If you guys don't know
Is
what
it
a
at
waterbed
least
is,
like an industrial
listen,
Band-Aid, or is it like one of those that like when it gets wet, it's going to fall off?
I almost made a joke, but it's a sponsor. Listen, waterbeds, and I know Beamer in the back probably knows his back. He probably had one of those.
He still has one. What are you talking about?
Waterbed, you did not get in a waterbed with pins, anything sharp in your pockets because you will puncture the waterbed and all of a sudden you got leaky bed.
You guys have sharp things in your pockets?
I'm talking about pencils, pens, you know what I'm saying, bobby pin, whatever, right?
Yeah,
so
okay.
If you puncture a
I almost
waterbed,
went
right?
somewhere with that, but I'm not going.
You only have one trade. If you're the Dallas Cowboys, you're
one shot at it.
one shot.
One shot.
But you have multiple areas that need to be addressed.
Right.
Okay. The offensive line's not playing as a unit. All right. I'm talking about they're in the running game. Your running backs are not getting it done in terms of being they don't even possess the ability to accelerate and get through some of these holes or make a guy miss. Right. The blocking scheme has to be perfect. When we talked about this running back room, I said there's only one guy in that entire room that has the ability to make anybody miss and win their one-on-one, right? If you left a safety, most blocking schemes, I don't know if people know this, Most blocking schemes leave one guy for the running back.
Yep.
I don't know if the general public knows that, right? You can't block everybody, right? But you can block most guys, and you say, you know what, that last guy, usually a safety or usually a corner,
go get him.
That's for you, running back. If he presents himself, beat him, right? Well, Rico Dowdle, not going to shake nobody. He's not going to shake and bake, okay? He's not Talladega Nights. Ezekiel Elliott, not going to do it either, okay? We've seen that early in the season when it took about 15 minutes for him to make a move, right? It happened. He did it, but I don't want you to count on that. If Dalvin Cook was to come up, we don't know what Dalvin has right now. We don't know, right? I'm not going to tell a man what he can't do, right? So we've seen his body of work in the past, but that's the past. So I would like to see what he's capable of doing and see if he has that go juice. We know Deuce can do it. But Deuce is not being put in a situation where he can do it. Okay, he's getting very close when he does have the opportunities, but he's not being given enough opportunities.
And we don't throw the ball to running backs very often. Like we did it twice in this game, and that resulted in 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
basically.
it worked.
It works.
Can I tell you something that's really going to bother you?
Please.
How many
Please.
plus 10 run plays do you think that Dallas has?
Plus 10?
Yes.
Like
plus 10
10
run
yards?
plays?
Plus 10 run plays.
1.
4.
Oh, I was going to say 2.
Of those 4, 3 of those are by who?
CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
So one by a running back.
Troubling.
And that's Rico, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But even the Giants then figured that out because the last 2 handoffs to CeeDee Lamb were -1 yard.
Yeah.
So now teams are figuring.
Two of them were sweeps. One of them was him lining up in the back.
Teams are figuring that out now.
So I want to take our first break, but I want to get an answer from everybody. If you had one position group to make a trade for, what would it be? What are you spending your one Band-Aid on? What's the one Band-Aid going on the waterbeds full of holes? What's going on?
I'm going receiver.
Okay.
I'm going receiver because you need to be confident in something.
Kind of shocked that you went that direction.
You need to be.
But that makes
you're
sense.
not confident in your complete defense right now because the defensive coordinator and guys are still trying to figure it out.
Yep.
Offensively, you have the faith in McCarthy. You have the faith in these players because they've shown you before that they can do it. So give him more weapons, and you're hoping that they just figure it out along the way because they've shown you that they can.
Let me say, just to be a little different. I know I said wide receiver before, but just to change it up a little bit, defensive line.
Okay. Go get a D lineman.
He's looking at my homework. Defensive line for me. This is a Cowboys team that outside of last week, they struggled against the run. They've not gotten the pass rush over the past couple of games, and that was with Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence in the mix. Without DeMarcus Lawrence or Micah Parsons in the mix, I don't see how it improves. At best, you could try to keep the dam from breaking, but that's terrifying. So, I'm going defensive line.
What part of the defensive line?
You think an
Interior
edge?
defensive line.
Oh, interior.
You could sell me on either.
Yeah.
To be honest, you could sell me on either. If the interior defensive lineman that you get is someone who has some versatility to flex from like a 3 to a 5 or something like that, then I could buy into that even more. I don't think that, and I like where Mozzie is going, and we still need to see more from Mozzie, but he's at least now trending in the right direction. I wouldn't make a trade for like a definitive one tech because I need somebody that can also, in a pinch, if I wanted to go a 3-down man front, then they can impact the game in that way as well.
Give me a 400-pound.
Yeah, I would like it. I would like
You
a
want a
true
big
one tech.
house?
Because D-Law is going to get healthy, Micah's going to get healthy, and when
You
those guys
have
come
Osa,
back, I
you
don't
have
want the guy that we
Chauncey.
just acquired sitting on the sideline.
Yeah.
That's why I said you could sell me on an interior.
That's what I want. If I was going to go D-line, give me the big nasty that just can't get moved.
And you're not wrong. The problem, because
What's
no opinion is
Vince
wrong.
Wilfork doing
My
these days?
problem is,
I think he got smaller.
Is when Tank comes back. Good news is he will be back. When he comes back, is this going to be, because he's had foot issues before, is this going to be something that he deals with the remainder of the season?
Sure.
And if that's the case, then if you sell me on a defensive lineman, interior guy, I would love for him to have some kind of flex to be able to pop out if he needs to pop out.
I would probably
right guy.
I'd say edge rusher.
Because sometimes you got to pop out and show.
There's edge rushers out there that you could go get, and you won't have to spend $1 bajillion or a bajillion draft picks to go get.
You think it's cheaper to get? You think it's cheaper to get an edge rusher or interior guy?
The salary cap is not a
Cheaper to get
bajillion.
interior
No, it's not a bajillion. That's the thing for me is you can go get an edge rusher. They're available. Teams have them. There's some teams that have a surplus of them. Dallas had a surplus previously. Even whenever Sam Williams went down in training camp, you and me all had a conversation about, is this defensive end group
Yes, we did.
thin?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
now
we
it's nothing. It's what it is. It's
now it's
Marshawn Nealon. That's who you got right now. I would go get an edge rusher, figure it out, and if it adds depth to your team, great. Once they come back, once D-Law and Micah Parsons come back, then you got that.
I just think wide receiver,
cool
man,
with it.
if you're thinking wide receiver,
cool with
which it's fine if you're thinking that because I can see the logic. But after everything we're talking about, you fix the run game, you force the defense to play differently, single high versus two-man high, things like that, then you will see Brandon Cooks get more of the deep shots and things like that. We've seen Cooks cook, for lack of a better way, but we've seen him over the back half of last season get involved heavily. So the talent is there. Maybe there's some frustration there because the Cowboys' rushing attack isn't there, which then leads to the next issue, which then leads to the next issue.
Part of my reasoning for saying a defensive end is because of what Isaiah said. You have confidence in your offense. I think they'll figure it out. I think Brandon Cooks,
I do think they'll figure it out.
The creativity will be there.
I think they can
I think Jake Ferguson coming back into the fold will be there. I think all of these things will lead to the point where it will be figured out offensively. I'm not confident the defense will figure it out. In terms of stopping the run and rushing the pass.
Can we address that question when we come back?
Which one?
What part of your team are you most confident in?
Most confident in?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Sure.
We've also got to do our defensive preview of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Defensive versus
Just
Pittsburgh's
remember,
offense.
this is the same Isaiah Stanback going into the Giants game who was right there with me when the Cowboys were allowing over 400 yards rushing. That was with Micah and Tank on the field.
That's why you need a big nasty.
But they also couldn't get after the quarterback.
We will be right back with more Talking Cowboys.
If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, this portion of the show is brought to you by Quaker Oats, the official oatmeal sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Quaker Oats, trusted since 1877.
I got mine's in.
You did?
I sure did.
Are you Spody Odie?
Oh, I'm Odie.
Spody Odie,
I'm
delicious.
The oat goat, Isaiah Stanback.
That's right, the oat goat.
Outcast reference for the unenlightened.
Bang.
For the uncultured.
It's probably gone
Outcast reference.
Uninitiated,
Odie,
if you will.
delicious.
You know what I want to...
Unenlightened, uncultured, if you will.
Does Quaker Oats, you know the little guy that's on the front, the Quaker?
The Quaker man?
Quaker?
Yeah, that's there.
What's his name?
I don't know. Quaker man?
It's Steve.
It's like a Superman.
I call
Steve?
him Q.
Did you know that?
Quaker
Did
Steve?
not.
Yeah.
Really?
Is that true?
I call him Q. Q.
Whoever the mascot
Q
is,
busy.
I hope they have, like, you know how like the Nationals do their president's race, and they've got like the costumes, the big mascot costumes where they like run around in them. I hope they have one of those lying around, and I hope one day he just bursts through this door in the middle of that read.
I'm gonna dress up as a Quaker
Like the
man
Kool-Aid
for an
deal.
episode.
Kind of like just bursting like
That's-
the Kool-Aid.
that's-
man.
Hey, dude, that is
Kool-Aid.
Hold on.
I have his name.
What's his name?
His name is Larry.
Larry.
Larry is the
Oats.
Quaker
That's
Oat
kinda
mascot
disappointing.
name.
Interesting.
Can we?
This
hey,
is a
Quaker,
bet
can
here.
we put that to a vote? Like, can we get a better name for Larry?
I kind of like Larry.
I don't know,
What are you
man.
talking about?
Larry
What was the
the
first
Quaker?
year?
I don't know.
18 something?
Larry.
1877.
Larry feels more.
Jeez, Larry.
I think of two things when I think of
1882
Larry.
is when he first came about.
Fitzgerald and
The Lobster?
car mechanic.
Larry the Lobster.
Yeah.
What was the mascot before Larry?
Okay, listen. Josh came up with a great idea. We got to find a bet. We got to find a bet where somebody has to dress up as Larry the Quaker Man for an entire episode if they lose the bet. I like that bet.
Only if Beamer's in the bet.
I think we can make this happen.
Kylie will be so happy.
Oh, yeah.
She would be so stoked.
That would be hilarious.
She's our sponsorship person that works with
If you get the lock of the week, if you don't get your lock of the week, you have to dress up as Larry.
Okay, that would mean everybody is dressing up as Larry, which would also be in turn very, very funny.
Yeah, it's not been a good pick 'em segment.
All right, it's got to be something organic. We'll find out.
We'll figure it out.
All right,
Like oats.
just like oats. Cowboys defense versus the Pittsburgh offense, missing a couple of pieces. And I'll kind of phrase this, Isaiah, you wanted to answer that question. Does it waver your confidence in the way that this defense is constructed whenever you don't have DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons? Absolutely, it does, right? It wavers your confidence, but where's the confidence level in each of the units for this Cowboys team?
Offensively, I feel like you have hope because you've seen it in the past, and you're just trying to figure out what's the missing link. Just after watching film, I have faith that this running game will get going.
Mm-hmm.
I have faith. Offensive passing wise, I honestly think majority of that's on McCarthy. I'm going to put that responsibility on him. I would tell him that to his face as well. I think the offensive line is doing a really good job. I think they have the 6th best protection in the league right now. So Dak's having time. Actually, Dak has a higher completion percentage when under pressure, which is odd. So don't protect him.
He thrives.
You know what I mean? Delete. So he's getting time, right? The offensive line is giving him time.
I want that as a drop.
That was good.
Don't protect him.
Don't protect him.
Question mark.
So I put that on McCarthy. I've seen guys get open. So the fact that he's getting time, I'm seeing guys get open. We have to find ways to be more creative in terms of getting guys to get splash plays outside of yak yards after catch. Defensively, I'm not convinced. That's just my real response.
It's fair.
The the running game hasn't been good. The run defense hasn't been good, and then my concern that I had coming into the season is kind of coming true, and that was in the regards to the defensive end position, which we put a lot of emphasis on, right, and a lot of trust in.
Yep.
Their inability now within this scheme to get after the quarterback, and that was my concern. And we can go back. There's receipts for that. That was my concern with this new defense. Like, okay, these guys are no longer the feature. Now the feature players are the linebackers. But if you can't stop the offensive linemen from getting up to the linebackers, then they can't do what you're asking them to do, nor be the superstars that you want them to be. So now who is the superstar?
Right.
If the defensive ends aren't your superstars, if you have no real interior defensive line presence, if your linebackers are getting reached, right? Now we're asking your DBs that are playing a lot of zone? Is that what we're asking? Mm-hmm. And no. So I don't have a lot of confidence there, and it's not because of the players. It's mostly because of the scheme. And I think Zimmer he's going to get it. I don't know if he has a bag. He might have a Ziploc, but get in there and pull something out.
Not the Ziploc.
Right? Get in the Ziploc and get in there and grab whatever little snacks you have, okay, until you can make a Costco run and throw something out there, man, because right now we just haven't seen enough. We haven't seen enough, and it's the same thing that we knew coming into the season. Okay, this is the type of style of defense he likes to run. They have you figured. Right now, they have you figured out.
You got to get in that Crown Royal bag. Not as you got to get in that velvet purple Crown Royal.
My mom kept a pistol in that one.
Ooh,
all right.
How you doing? Don't you touch my Crown Royal bag?
No, my brother. You got to get your own.
Yeah, that's smart. I like.
You know what I'm saying though? Yeah. Like, so that there isn't one aspect of this team that I feel amazing with right now.
No,
but I have most confidence in our kicking game, and I have confidence. I guess the special teams is probably 1.
Yep.
And then offense 2, defense 3.
Yeah, I agree. We talked about it the other day. We went through the high five article that was on DallasCowboys.com. And one of the 5 reasons to be optimistic going into the rest of the year is the fact that you probably have the best special teams unit in football right now, with Brandon Aubrey, Brian Anger, and Kevontae Turpin as your returner.
Can I ask you guys a real question? And I want to ask this. I don't know. Today's not.
Do I not ask?
Yeah,
real
he was
questions?
asking real questions.
Listen, we're not talking to the people today. when you cross the 50-yard line, I need your real answer right now. When you cross the 50-yard line, are you thinking touchdown right now as a spectator, or are you thinking field goal?
Field goal, I'm thinking field goal.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
It is, and this is we talked about this in training camp when the question was, is it a good thing that you have a kicker that can kick 60, 65 yards? And I was like, yeah, it's a great thing because that's rare.
But let's not lean on
I
that.
also want you to forget that your kicker can kick 60-plus yarders because that will force the offense to stop relying on it and saying all we have to do is get across the 50. No, what you need to do is get in the end zone.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do.
The fact that you have a kicker that can kick 60-yard field goals should only spring into your brain when there are 5 seconds left in the half or the game.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like that's when you're like, oh yeah, by the the
game's on the line. Come on in.
If it's the first series of the first drive of the game, absolutely not. What are we doing, dude?
And I mean, I get kicking field goals and putting points on the board, but there have been many drives, and I'll write the highlight reel for whenever we go back through them post game. And whenever I'm writing the highlight reel, it's like, well, they had one completion to Hunter Lipke, and it ended up in a field goal. We've seen too many drives like that, where it's one completion, you get a field goal, great, everybody feels happy about it, and Brandon Aubrey is still Brandon Aubrey doing Brandon Aubrey things.
And then the opposing team runs it down your throat for a touchdown.
And they
now you're exchanging touchdowns for field goals.
Yeah, you can't do that.
That's what I'm saying. The offense, defensively. The offense used to be your spark.
Yeah. They used to be number one.
That was your spark, right? That was I got that in the bag. Like we're good. Like we're good there. We're gonna score some points. Now you're hoping for three.
Get downfield. They're proving they can, have extended drives, but penalties and miscues and things like that. That's what kills them in the red zone. But between and up to the red zone, they're effective. But then they get closer to the red zone, and it's holding, it's false start, it's miscue here. So if they clean those up, so to Kyle's point, I believe that they have the talent on offense to get it figured out.
I do too.
But when you look at defensively, on the defensive line now, who's your superstar? Who's your headliner?
Right. Well, to Isaiah's point, I don't even think it's necessarily a red zone issue. We are not even getting to the red zone as consistently as we should.
Correct.
It's getting into past the 50, and it's like, all right, yeah, it's field goal time. It's not the. It's the plays that get you to the field goal. It's not exactly taking points where you can get them, right?
Sure.
It's the 2nd and 10 that you're facing, and you're like, okay, well, let's run up the middle.
For 2 yards.
Mm-hmm. And then that becomes a 3rd and long, and then you're like, okay, now we got to take a deep shot, incomplete, 4th and long.
That was my concern in having. It's great to have the weapon you have in Brandon Aubrey, but you have to use it correctly. You can't walk into that drive saying, "Oh, well, all we need to do is get across the 50." No, you need to walk into that drive saying we need a touchdown.
And I don't think that they're doing that. I just think it's in their subconscious that it's like, okay, we're
right.
good.
Even if we don't, you're not doing it consciously,
we're good.
That's what I mean. If you're doing it subconsciously, you're still doing it.
It's the same thing like when our kids. Everybody has kids, right? So it's like. We mess up because growing up we didn't have a lot, right? Most of us didn't have a lot, right? We had to grind and get it out the mud, whatever it might be. But now that we have kids, right? We mess our kids up because we're like, you know what? We're going to make sure that they're taken care of. They have better than we had, right? And they don't have that same drive to be amazing majority of the time because guess what? I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's something I can rely on. So that's kind of the approach. It's not to say that you don't work hard. It's not to say that you don't have the same intent. But when you have it in your subconscious that I'm good, if I don't, then there's something that you now can lean on.
Yeah.
When you don't have a safety net,
correct.
You're much more focused on not falling off the high wire.
This is going to be another week where you cannot trade field goals for touchdowns.
Because they control the time of possession.
Justin Fields has been playing lights out stuff.
He is no longer Justin Soldier Fields.
Justin
Fields.
Actually, you know what?
Steelers.
To go to your point there, the last 6 starts for Justin Fields, he's had at least a 90 passer rating. At least. He's 4-2 in those starts. His touchdown to interception ratio is 8-1. This, of course, dates back to the final 2 games of last year as well. His first 36 starts when he was Justin Soldier Fields, Josh Rodriguez.
Right.
He was 9 of 27. 9 wins, 27 losses.
Jeez.
In his time with the Bears and early time with Pittsburgh. Total touchdowns to interceptions, it was 51-29, and his passer rating was at 82. So, not good.
He was a playmaker still in Chicago.
Yeah.
But I think
put up some numbers.
At least now, when you're seeing Justin Fields with the Steelers, he's been decisive in the pocket without having the sort of hairline trigger to run the ball, right? Yeah. When scrambling, his mechanics has gotten so much better than his time with the Bears, and his footwork. Being able to plant while on the run, being able to plant and throw the ball has been obviously a huge step up from his time with the Bears. Definitely no Russell Wilson for this game. No. So you're going to rely on Justin Fields, who is, like we said, a dual threat quarterback. Mm-hmm. He's looking really, really solid.
Yeah, I mean, this dude has 14 first downs using his arm. He has another 7 first downs on. This is talking about third down. That is 14 first downs through the air, 7 of them on the ground.
Yikes.
They're 40, just under 44% on third down efficiency. So these guys are top 10 in the league in terms of third down. So they're staying within drives. They're going to run the crap out of the ball. They're running the ball, like I said, 34, 35 times a game. So they're playing keep away. They're going to make you load the box. And you best believe if there is ever a coach in the NFL outside of Dan Campbell, okay, who will relentlessly run the ball, it is Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
And if he sees that you have a weakness, is there a weakness on the D-line?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. If he sees that you have a weakness and that's already their tendency to run the ball 35 times a game, then what are you going to get? Mm-hmm. Right? And then you can't load the box because if you lay out to try to stop the run, there's dudes on the outside too.
You got Pickens.
Right? You got Pickens on the outside, right? You got Jay Fields that can outflank you if he gets out the pocket. So I don't know what the approach is. I really don't know what the approach is. You have to try to find a way to shut him down, though.
I'll tell you what the approach is. The approach is, this is, even though he's young, and typically young quarterbacks don't do well against the blitz, don't blitz Justin Fields.
No.
Don't blitz him.
No.
Because that's the number one that's giving him an out because he wants to run anyway, right? Force him, contain him in the pocket, which then allows time for your struggling defensive front to get to him, because here are the numbers, and this is via Next Gen, right? Versus the blitz, he's 23 for 32. He has 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 112 passer rating. That passer rating drops down to 92.2 when he's not blitzed. Completions are only 54 of 77. He's been sacked 6 times when he's not blitzed. Mm-hmm. So don't blitz him.
So
make him make the reads. He has improved upon that. He's still not quite that dude to sit in the pocket and dissect the game. He's not going to Peyton Manning you. Yeah. No, he's not going to Tom Brady you. So if you had to pick a poison, is what I'm saying, don't let the poison be with his legs because you're already struggling to stop the run. And Najee is going to get his, presumably. Yeah. So what you want to do is keep from adding and compounding onto that problem by then now you have to deal with Najee on the ground and you got to deal with Justin on the ground as well. No, deal with Najee on the ground, deal with Justin in the air.
Of those 6 sacks, 4 of those sacks came from 2 high safeties. Mm. Okay, that's just through film study. Coverage. Okay, so of those, so you're playing coverage, right? You're playing over the top. He is being very intentional about when he actually decides to throw the ball. He's deliberately not turning the ball. Like, he's not taking risk. And I think I know why he's not taking a risk, because he knows if he messes up, there's somebody that can step into his position.
There's a guy there.
There's a guy there. So he is being very intentional about when he's going to release the ball and how he's going to release the ball, the position he's going to put it in. So whenever you're in a position to have a too high shell, you have more defenders. We just talked about it in regards to the Dallas Cowboys defense. He's not letting the ball go. He's not airing it out. He's not trying to throw it in small windows. So he has a tendency to hold on to the ball when you have those extra defenders. But in order to have those extra defenders, you have to put them in 3rd and long situations.
Yeah. Yeah, and then one more stat when it comes to blitzing versus not blitzing. When you blitz him, his completion percentage over expectation is 8%. 8% over expectation. When you don't blitz him, it drops down to 3%.
Yep. Got to have a plan.
Contain him.
Got to have a plan.
Force him to throw. Make difficult throws, make difficult reads, but don't send that extra dude. Yeah. And you also don't have the luxury to send that extra dude right now.
Who does that put pressure on the defensive side of the football? We'll answer that question when we come back with more Talkin' Cowboys after this.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
And we're going to overtime.
Erica, how much have I spent on concessions?
For questions about their money, Dallas Cowboys fans can turn to Erica, the virtual financial assistant in the Bank of America mobile banking app. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/Erica by your side. Bank of America, official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Erica responses may vary. Digital tools featured require downloading the mobile banking app and may only be available on select mobile devices. Erica is a mobile feature only available in the English language. Your chat may be recorded and monitored for quality assurance. Message and data rates and additional terms may apply. Bank of America, N.A., member FDIC.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, this segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, Isaiah Stanback, Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Youmans. We ask the question, now if you're not blitzing Justin Fields, who is, without Micah Parsons, without DeMarcus Lawrence, who's the most pressure on defensively to get the job done and contain Justin Fields?
DeMarvion Overshawn.
Agreed. Right back to him?
He needs to fly around the field. I want to see him on the blitz as well. I want to see him give Justin Fields some issues.
Wait, we just said don't blitz. We just said don't blitz.
Don't blitz.
I want to.
Don't blitz.
I want to see it. When your guy's that fast, I want to see it.
I agree. It is DeMarvion.
Josh is like, I get the science. I understand, but I still want to try it.
Science is cool and all, I guess, but
don't blitz.
What was the line last
week? To hell
week?
with your science.
Yeah.
That's my to hell with your science segment of the week. Blitz, DeMarvin, Overshow.
Only Demo.
In Josh's voice, extra large agree. It is DeMarvion Overshown. But extra large disagree. Don't use him to blitz. Use him to help seal those edges and spy Justin Fields to keep him from burning the edges. But I'll also say another reason you don't need to send DeMarvion Overshown is what we didn't talk about is as much as the Cowboys defensive line is dealing with injury right now, Pittsburgh offensive line is wrecked with injuries, right? So, yeah, we have Cooper Beebe as a starting center. We have Tyler Guyton as a starting left tackle. Well, they got Zach Frazier as a starting center. And Mason McCormick quite likely will start at left guard. So you should, if you're talking about Mozzie taking a step, if you're talking about Marshawn kneeling, Chauncey Golston, maybe Osa should eat well against this injured offensive line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You shouldn't have to blitz. So not only do you not need to blitz, or not only should you not blitz, but you may not need to blitz. Yeah. But DeMarvion Overshown.
Sounds nice. It sounds nice, but I want to see at least spy.
I can't wait.
That's what I said. I said you got to use him to spy Fields, but don't send him at Fields. Use him to kind of hover, and then as soon as Fields breaks left or right, unleash the demon.
He's just following me.
The first snap that DeMarvion Overshown rushes and blitzes, first snap that he does, this group message on Sunday is going to just blow up.
Yeah,
it's going to be.
It's absolutely all over, dude.
It's going to be.
My answer is Eric. I'm going with Eric Kendricks.
Okay,
and I say that because Eric Kendricks is now thrusted into the position of the undoubted leader on this side of the ball on the field on game day.
Yeah.
There's nobody else in that front seven that will have the voice that he has.
No doubt.
And that will be respected like he's respected. So not only from that regard in terms of trying to keep these guys on the rails mentally, but also putting guys in the best position. And he is your quarterback on defense. So as you're having this chess match, right? The play comes in to Justin Fields. He gets that from Arthur Smith. He gets that call. And then obviously Coach Zimmer gives the call to Eric Kendricks. And then from that point on, those are the two guys that are playing chess on the field. It is
green dot versus green dot.
It is literally those two going head to head. So Justin Fields versus Eric Kendricks, I would hope that Eric Kendricks would win that mental game from his experience alone. So I would
He's
like
seen
to
Justin Fields quite a few times too during their time in the same division.
So I would like to see him mess with him, mess with the looks, mess with the gaps, mess with all those things, stunts, whatever it might be. That
Go ask him his shoe size real quick.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to run stunts.
My size, Paul.
Let's just call it what it is. You're gonna have to run stunts if you want to get any type of pressure, if you want to get any type of containment while eliciting pressure. You're gonna have to do all that. That's all coming from Eric Kendricks. So he's going to be getting those guys lined up, and he's going to be playing those mental games with Justin Fields. So I'm looking at him.
Yeah. I like it. I think there's ways that you can contain him, even with some of the lack of depth that you have and some of the star pieces that are out, but it's not going to be easy. Justin Fields is not – if you're expecting to see Chicago Bears Justin Fields when you're watching Sunday Night Football this week, don't watch. Because that's not who you're getting. But it will be a chess match, like you said, between those guys and between the coordinators to try and get the job done. All right, that does it for us here on Talking Cowboys. Hope you had fun with us here over the last 45 minutes. We'll be back tomorrow. Cowboys offensive preview versus the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. We've got some fun to be had in that regard as well. For Patrik Walker, Isaiah Stanback, Josh Rodriguez, Chris Beam in the back, I'm Kyle Youmans saying so long from Talking Cowboys. We'll see you tomorrow.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this,